This is the news that Canary Capital have filed for a very unique, first of its kind hybrid NFT and meme coin ETF with the Pudgy Penguin NFT and token PENGU included. It's important because I think it's the first example where NFTs have been included in this type of a filing, and the first time a huge Web3 brand has managed to demand this type of exposure. In terms of the specific details, they said in seeking to achieve this investment objective, the trust will invest in a portfolio consisting primarily of PENGU, the official token of the Pudgy Penguins project, and secondly, Pudgy Penguins non-fungible token, so the NFTs. And the trust will also hold other digital assets like ETH and Sol, but only to the extent that they're necessary or incidental to the purchase of PENGU and the NFTs. Crucially, the crucial detail, which I'm not sure was even in this headline article that we're sharing on the screen, but it's important to know, is that the specific amounts or the ratio between PENGU tokens to NFTs is 80 to 95% PENGU tokens and 5 to 15% Pudgy Penguin NFTs. So I think this is pretty historic in some sense. Awesome news for the Pudgy Penguins team and Web3 more broadly. It's also, I think it's pretty gratifying to see teams that do ship things keep pushing forward. And no, I don't think that necessarily means that it's immediately a hit with loads of demand and that things just all kind of fall into place. But I think they deserve to be in the arena. They've shipped so much when it comes to real world stuff that it's nice to see them be in the conversation and push things forward. Now, the next challenge will be obviously to compete with all the other ETFs that we're seeing. We obviously got the King ETF Bitcoin, which is everyone is just starting to wake up to and starting to allocate to, and has done extraordinarily well. But we are obviously seeing a whole host of other ETFs going through, and that trend is definitely going to continue. So a lot of competition, but I think it's pretty cool to see that come through. Ledge, any thoughts here on this? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the proportion as well?
Yeah, honestly, ICO Beast had a pretty spicy take on that. I'm gonna bring it up on screen real quick. ICO said, I really don't think it should be a hot take that a PENGU ETF is quite possibly the dumbest fucking thing I've seen in a while. We don't need ETFs for ghost change, much less sub 6-month-old meme coins. If the boomers are barely interested in buying ETH, much less Sol, why in the world would they even consider touching something called PENGU? I tend to agree, honestly, as a bullish on PENGU, bullish on the ecosystem that Luca is building. And yes, it's cool to kind of prove the concept theoretically that you can push for a meme coin plus NFTs to be listed as an ETF, but you truly don't need that. And a few people are making the point that Pudgy Penguin's not an NFT project. They have retail stores selling the toy lines, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. ICOB said, yeah, so does KFC, but they don't have an ETF. And also, I don't think this translation works. Like, if anything, and I said that in a post myself, I'd rather own Pudgy Penguin stock if that were a publicly traded company at some point in the future when they're big enough. But I don't see this translation working, that someone buys Pudgy Penguin plushies, toys, and is like, oh, there's also a PENGU ETF. I might buy that as well. So, no shade thrown. And I think it's cool to prove the concept that you can have this as a financial asset. But I don't really think it's necessary to have a PENGU plus NFT ETF.